Dancing in the theater. See, it's okay to dance when the door's closed and the cameras aren't off. I've been told that I'm not allowed to dance in public, though. So we're gonna.
Last time you danced in public, it went really. Woo. That was a lot.
There's a subsection to the Geneva Convention about me dancing in public.
The beacons of Gondor were lit.
Something was lit. All right.
Anyway,
back onto the helm, and we have been given an entire hour.
Oh, God help us
to
all.
play with the. Now, this is actually a really good thing.
Actually,
for
it
today
is. Thank you.
Because some of this is a little slow, and we want to be careful. And so, rather than doing a little bit of it on camera, we can get a whole bunch of it done off camera.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
When we last left, we were cutting out bits, right?
Bits.
Got all sorts of parts cut out.
I look like I have a knife. I'm going to shank you.
That's...
Shank.
Yeah.
Shank.
But you don't. All right. We got parts cut out, and so today is when we start putting them together and getting them all glued up into a big thing so that we can start adding to it. And this is real exciting because our just random bits of stuff that we've been working on over and over start becoming an actual object.
Can I just say that I really like how we're going with this? And we've actually heard from the viewers that, they're really liking how we're doing a step-by-step. We're doing the sketching out. We're looking at what materials we want to use. Where can we get those materials?
Right.
And then go, it's going to be amazing when we're done.
And so far, even though we've spent a little on glue, we're actually, for the most part, keeping it pretty darn cheap. Now, today is the next kind of the big thing that we use. Let's talk about glue. Glue is the stuff that binds us and holds the world together.
And burns my fingertips off to where I have no more feeling in my little nubbins here.
I was just trying to go for it.
Right. We're gluing the nubbins.
We're gonna glue the nubbins.
We're gluing the If you got nubbins, we're gluing them.
But that can go in so many directions. Thankfully, we're not going to be using hot glue, but we got a neat kind of glue that we're going to be using. I haven't used yet, and I'm actually looking forward to see where this goes because this is called. What's this called again?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Hold up. So normally on the show for a lot of things we use hot glue. It's quick for the show. It's good for all sorts of stuff, especially sort of temporary binding things together or permanently binding little things. It can. For something like this, it would just be way too much. It'd be too hard to do, and it wouldn't be an effective hold. Which brings out contact cement. Ooh.
Not contact for your eyes.
Don't put the...
Please
put
don't.
Contact cement on your body at all.
Stop it.
Do not contact cement your body. All right. There are different types of contact cement out there, right? And there are hundreds of brands, and you can look across, you see all sorts of, contact cement, is this going to work, is this going to work? But honestly, there are basically 3 brands that I recommend for any of these projects. Okay. Right? The first is a spray glue, if you have to use a spray glue. It's called Super 77 by 3M.
I have used that before.
3M has a bunch of different sprays. If you got to go with the spray, Super 77 is the stuff. It will stick things to things that shouldn't be stuck to.
That's a really cool gamer tag.
It's Super 77.
Oh, Super 77!
What are you doing, Super 77?
And like me again!
And some sort of a healer, because he's putting things back together.
What's the other glues, Chris?
So the thing with the spray adhesive, it works real well, but it definitely works for lighter stuff. It's not exactly good for foam, but it is something that we could use if we needed to. We would more use it for lighter weights of foam, or if we had these helmets and we were covering them with cloth or something like that, we would Super 77 and spray it and then go that direction.
Which we may potentially use for my helmet with what I'm going for.
That's a possibility.
So
all
you
right.
may see us
the next one up is called Weldwood.
Say that 10 times to us. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Weldwood, 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 Weldwood,
Weldwood, Weldwood. All right. It comes in a red container.
Werewolf!
It comes from the hardware store, your local big box hardware store. It's in a container. It's a red container. There's some different types, some thinner and thicker. I prefer the gel version, the thicker version myself. I think the thinner version you have to put multiple layers on to really get a good hold. I haven't really. It's your mileage may vary. It runs $5 or $6 for a little can on up to 15 or 20 for a big can.
Okay.
It lasts a little while. Once it starts getting dried up, though, you're done. You're done. Toss it. Get another. And so it's good for a variety of projects. And you can find it just about anywhere. So it's pretty good. It's the mid-range stuff. And then the top of the line is called Barge. It also comes
Barging through the
similar,
door.
It also
Barging
comes
through
in
someone's middle sentence. Oh! You're barging in my face.
I barged his head, nut. And glue your nubbins. So Barge still comes in similar containers to the Weldwood. It actually comes in kind of a yellowy wrapper instead of the red that the Weldwood comes in.
Yep.
Barge is a little harder to find and a little pricier. I was not able to find some in my local hardware store, but I did find some at my local Tandy Leather because it's used by leather workers all the time.
Okay.
It is the top of the line stuff. It's a little pricier, so a container about so big is around the 15 to 20 mark.
Oh, wow.
Right? But it is some serious glue. Now, I went looking for some glue for our project today, and I went looking to Tandy to try and get something. But the other side is I don't necessarily need a giant container for what we're doing.
Yeah.
And with the container open, because you're supposed to use it in a well-ventilated space, and the studio is not a well-ventilated space. We happen to be known for causing people down the hall to second guess letting us in the door.
Because we have to do this constantly.
Yeah, it's
bad.
They don't like us.
We've been smoked out before.
So keeping the studio in mind and the fact that I want to keep using it, and the fact that we don't need a big old container, I went looking and actually, look at this. Barge.
Check that out over there.
Barge comes in a small tube. Hello.
Let's check that out over there.
It's like we're on TV. We'll check that out later. Barge comes in a tube. It's a little blue tube here, and this was $7. This is plenty for what we've got going on.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that once we open this up and put a little down and seal it, we can work with what we've got, and we keep the fumes to a minimum.
Oh God, I just got one little whiff of that. Oh, wow.
Good thing we're keeping the fumes to a minimum.
Yeah.
Jeff's going to be fun
that
later.
was not a minimum.
All right.
Wow. It
so
was like
different
right
types
here.
of glue.
It just went...
If you can get a hold of some Barge,
yes,
do it. If you can't get a hold of some Barge, Weldwood in the red container, and if you have to, go Super 77. Beyond those three, if you can't get a hold of one of those three, start looking online. You can get a hold of it there.
But we do, for the viewers at home, if you are under the age of 18, make sure you have a parental guidance when you're using this kind of material, because it can be a little toxic when you're smelling it and everything else like that. But so if you got a mask, wear a mask. We're not going to wear a mask because we know what we're doing here, but we advise anyone with asthma.
We have an idea of what we're doing
here.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but if you have asthma or anything, stuff like that, please make sure you do wear a mask.
Let's start talking about putting these things together and using this. Now, here's where I actually went out and got a couple of tools today.
Oh, okay.
I went to the dollar store.
Dollar store.
Dirt cheap. So here's the thing. When we put the contact cement on, we can't just swoosh it on and hope that it's good. We have to spread it out all nice and thin across the surface that we want to do. And we'll show you that in here in just a few minutes. Okay. So in order to do that, I'd mostly take just a piece of old scrap foam, cut a little bit off.
Here, let's go ahead and get on the camera right over there.
I just cut a little piece off, and as I've got some glue there, I just kind of spread it out with the little craft foam, and we can ditch it. Here's that barge that we were looking at with the barge bear.
It's the triangle with the white bear.
Now, rather than, oh no, I dropped the glue. Rather than using the foam, which is, we just use it, we toss it, nice. But we're still tossing extra stuff into the trash and the environment, all that sort of thing. So
I might use
this is where I found at the cooking section this Are you ready for genius?
I'm ready for genius.
This is a silicone brush for basting.
Are we
and for putting glue on.
I was about to say, are we going to be barbecuing
This
in here?
is a silicone spatula for scraping glue on if you don't want to use the brush.
Smart.
Here's the neat thing. Silicone does not glue to stuff. So as you use this, even with bristles, and the glue dries and gets caked in the bristles.
Yeah.
This is silicone. You peel off the glue and you keep using the brush. It's a $1 brush that will last you forever.
Yep.
And the nice thing is, because it's a dollar store, you know, some of the bristles are going to be great for basting. They might be a little long for what we're doing. You just trim it off. It was $1. Now here's the other ingenious thing that I found at the hardware store. These are clips. There's 6 of them for $1. Here's what we do with the clips. Now we're gonna glue. That's not what we're doing with the clips, Jeff. We're gonna glue the edge of this. Now once I have the edge of this glue and the glue and the, good thing we're not using hot glue on Jeff.
My face feels weird.
Your face looks weird.
Yeah, you could say that.
All right, so we want to start putting glue along the edge, but we don't want it to come in contact with stuff while the glue is dry. So we take a couple of clips. On the other side, we now have a stand.
Okay, that's actually pretty. That is
mind blown.
Okay, I'm actually impressed with that. All right, you got me there.
Not only that, we can put the glue on this side,
that's really smart.
and then we can clip the other side and turn it over while this glue is drying and put glue on the other side.
That's smart. I like that. All right.
All right, so we got to get to it. Now, here are the secrets to using contact cement.
Yes.
Secret number 1, spread it on nice and thin. Secret number 2, let it dry.
Please. Let it dry.
If you're looking for secret number 3, revisit secret number 2. It's got to get dry and tacky, kind of like my humor. Yeah.
We can hear everyone in the studio right now.
They're agreeing with me. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So it's got to get dry and tacky. At that point, we can start putting things together. What happens if it dries too much and it's no longer tacky before we can get to it? Fine, we put another layer of glue on.
Yep.
No big deal. And in fact, some folks, for big, strong pieces, use a couple of layers of glue before putting it on. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get started. I've got a couple of pieces here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a couple more clips just because it's my idea and I like it.
This is so genius. And how much were these?
6 of these were $1. Dollar store.
Dollar store is where it's at.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. I've got my 2 pieces. I'm going to glue along this edge. I'm going to glue along this edge so I can put them together. What I'm going to do is put just a little bit of barge along the edge. In just a sec, I'll get closer to the camera so you can see that side. All right. Closer to the camera time. And I just getting a little bit of a bead going down the way.
And the fumes aren't actually that bad. Do you want to use the spatula or do you want to use the brush?
I want to use the spatula.
Spatula!
I can't see.
Uh-oh.
All right, there we go.
Cap it. And I'm going to use it on my end, so just beat it. Okay.
All right, and then, just spread it nice and thin. Ooh, I'm going to use the big side of the spatula.
Okay, the fumes aren't that bad here, but yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from on that.
There are some fumes. You do want...
You use the spatula, I'm going to use the brush.
All right, brush it on.
So we can get 2 different techniques going in here at once. We can go ahead and get it there.
If you find you've got a little extra, go down to spots and, kind of revisit there. Glue, glue, glue.
All right. There we go.
There we go. Now I'm going to try not to get too much on the front of my piece. It's not the end of the world if it's there. We can always clean up.
Yep.
But ultimately, the less we have to clean up, the better. If some gets on the inside, that won't matter as much. Now, while you're spreading it out, if it gets to a point where the glue is starting to kind of pull with you, then it's getting set up and you have to leave it alone. There we go. Now, other important point, when I've got the spatula with the glue on it, I'm not going to set it directly on the table. I'm going to set it on something else where I can just let it sit there. Now's the dull part. We have to sit and wait. How long? It kind of depends. It depends on, we don't clip it together. We're not gluing it together yet.
Oh, we're not? Oh, I thought we were gluing it. This is why he is the master and I'm the apprentice.
Refer to rule number 2, where you have to wait for it to dry.
This is what happens when you rush.
It's like Jeff wasn't there for the rules, standing next to me saying the exact same thing.
I was next to you for the rules when you were saying that?
Yeah.
Oh.
It must have been that time that you clipped your face. All right.
Well, it might have been that time also since I got hit in the head with a piece of foam and just...
So, how long will it take? It may take as little as like 4 or 5 minutes. It may take as much as 15. It probably won't take more than that. You can kind of see over here, this piece, if we take a look at that, is still a little on the wet side, where this piece is getting on the dry side. It's okay if they're drying separately like that. Well, I can definitely show you. So here's, hey Cameron, we can kind of see that we've got the glisten there under the lighting. You can kind of see that's where it's still wet. If I've got a piece over here, that glistening, some of it's along the edge, but we can already see where some of it's a little drier. We don't have that glistening look. That's how we know we're getting close to where we want. Now, this side of the helmet, I actually started gluing already because I was impatient and I wanted to test out the glue and see just kind of.
Oh, wait. Did you just say that you were impatient?
Yeah. I want to play with the Helm. So I glued up the same seam I'm doing here, but on this other side, and this extra little seam that was trying to push together. And so you can see where it's really strong hold.
That's going to be a really big helmet.
It is going to be big.
It's gonna be
but
a
you know
big
what?
helmet. But I got horns coming in on mine.
And the other thing is that it's still a little on the flat side. We were talking about shaping it before, right? But the top is definitely got that rounded look, and that's where I did some of my shaping. So what I can do is, while I'm waiting for this to dry, I can actually hit it some with the heat gun and kind of shape it a little more that I may do. But also, while I think about it, I bet that the heat gun can speed up this process. Or catch it on fire. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking.
Is it catching them?
It is not catching on fire. It's not, I wasn't really going to do something that's catching on fire. But it is speeding up the glue process.
It actually is. Yeah, I see exactly what you're talking about. Now as it's drying here, you can actually see it bubble up a little bit. And when it's bubbling, you know it's working.
Well, I think that was just, I had a little extra glue on that.
No, because, well, you see the texture all changing now. There we go.
All right, let's give this a try. Hey, you want this over there?
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll figure it out.
I figured out how to keep the extension cord so that it wouldn't fall over by keeping it on this side, but I suppose you want some power too.
Thank you.
Now, while he does that, I'm at a pretty good point, all things considered. Really, that was just a couple of minutes. I actually am going to give it an extra minute or two. Don't be impatient. This is a good helm. This is the cool stuff. Don't be impatient. Give it another minute. Make sure that it's where it needs to be. Otherwise, your helm will be falling apart on you. All right, go.
Oh, that's hot. Burned off some
It's
hair.
almost like you might think that it's hot from the name heat gun, but you know, I can see where you might think heat gun. Maybe it removes the heat and it's actually cold, or maybe we should stop giving the hot things to Jeff. All right,
I will probably burn myself.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the gluing over here. And here's the thing with the glue. Once these sides are glued,
Yes.
they're going to stay that way. So we have to go slow and careful. I did see online, Bill Duran actually, for some pieces that he didn't want to accidentally stick down the way, put some wax paper over it to keep them separated until he got to that point, which was pretty neat. But I don't have any wax paper, and I've just got one straight line. I don't have to worry about all sorts of wiggly bits.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay. Now, we made these registration marks along the way when we were cutting it out. And so they actually match up to the registration marks on the other side. Since this is such a long piece, that's how I know that that I'm at the right point.
You got it?
Yeah, and as I start putting things together, the key is that the outside, I want to have it nice and smooth. And where I come up to, let's look at this real quick. See, these registration points are close and they're gonna work. I just have to make sure to kind of scrunch the foam around so that I can hit right exactly where I want on those pieces. And so by the end of it, all the way at the top, it'll get to exactly where we want it to be. Okay. And those registration marks are gonna be a little bit off as I go up because the pattern is curved and the foam is flat. But we're just gonna take some time. And go up. I'm even going to ditch some glasses here. We're going to go straight, close up with this. Get that registration mark. Now the pattern.
Oh wow, this stuff like sticks immediately, like right then and there.
That's what I'm saying.
Insane.
The pattern that we used for Jeff's helm does not have registration marks. But number one, it was free. And number two,
which we appreciate that it was.
Heck yeah, keep making cool stuff, Svetlana. But the other side is that, there we go, get that registration in there. It's not as far that he has to go.
I'm going to use one of these little pieces just to kind of hold it for a little bit while the glue sticks to each other, just to kind of help it.
Okay.
And also, the neat little thing is that if you have like little gaps and such, if we can go ahead and look at this piece, if you have little gaps on between that seem like the seams aren't going, you can always go back in and then fill it in with glue so the little piece can stick. Then also on top of that, when you're creating your piece and you're adding materials or otherwise over, you can just go ahead and use that and then use that as like a patch. So there we go.
There are a couple spots here I think that the glue may have not quite been ready.
All right, so if you can see it this side, so I'm using these. I'm going to go ahead and take these off now since it seems like it's gone where it needs to go. So you'll see right here, see that little gap I was talking about? It's just a little bit right there, but it's okay because the cutting was off just a bit. But we can go ahead and come on this side and you can see that it's all sticking. So what I can do when I come back, I can actually put in some glue in the middle right there to fill it in. And then later on, when I put my horns or other materials on the piece, I can just put it over and then use it as a patch. So
we can actually fill it in a couple of different ways too. So number one, we could add some flexible filler into the seams, right? Mm-hmm. We can also add a little bit of foam clay that we're going to use next time around and push it into those areas, and the foam clay can be sanded down later to smooth out those spots.
Hey look! It looks like a little sailboat.
Alright.
Or a shark.
Shark, baby shark.
Hate that song. Alright, so let's see. That was A and B, and now I have to find side C.
Cool.
Oh,
So I've got
dear.
two sides of a helm. And what I'm going to do to put the sides together is I'm going to do the front first.
Uh-oh.
And then I will do the back.
I think I'm going to go back on this side and just do this A and B. Yeah, we're just going to do that. There we go. Wait, this has to go back here. So, Chris, it's like that, right? That's how it will go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just got to bend it back.
As long as the bottom has that same, as the bottom of it has that line.
Yeah.
You want to match that up.
All right, perfect. We can do that. So I'm going to go back and glue this. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're Combat Creations. I'm Jeffrey, and this is Chris, and basically what we do. We've been started the show about a year or two ago now, and what we do is we take everyday household items and make something more out of them.
I stole your clip.
Hey, you did. What we do now is that we decided this season we want to take a project and do it from start to finish. So if you go back in a few episodes, you actually see us like sketching out the drawing, what we want to go for, what we're kind of looking at, and then later down the road, we're kind of doing a step by step. So right now we got these foam pieces. We're going for more of these helmets that we want to do. He's doing more of an elvish type, right?
Yeah, and I started going for a forest, but the more I think about decor, the more I think I'm going in a high elf sort of look.
When you're done with the glue, I would be more than happy to use it. So what Chris is going is, he's more for a high elf and such, and what my outfit's going to look like.
Watch out, it's not, the lid's not on all the way.
Oh, I'm going to go for more of a troll type of deal, so I'm going to allow forests and such, and I actually have some materials I brought. So once I'm done with the helmet gluing it together, I'm going to go ahead and probably get some of the materials out and work on those. Now, I may not get to those just yet, but that's why we have different episodes going through different things. So, but oh wow, that stuff is real strong. Whew. So if you're asthmatic, definitely wear a mask. It will definitely help you in the long run here. Ooh, Lordy, oh Lord, I'm just so happy this isn't hot glue. You have no idea. I said to myself I would not use hot glue this season, and I'm not. Oh wait, I have to, use it. Oh, I get to use the brush again.
It uses the brush. It uses the brush.
And it uses the spatula. Hey, Macarena. What? Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking. This one goes here, so this is going to go back here. All right.
All right. Now we sit and wait. But we can plan out.
That looks like giant pauldrons.
That's right. They're shoulder pieces.
Those are giant
doom. They are pretty big. So, in my designs, I've got a lot of Warhammer influence, and Warhammer elves just have these really tall helms. They really do. They're ridiculous. And I was kind of going with that look. Mostly, I was going to try and elongate out my face and my head, so it's a little more elvish. Given the bigger helm there. And in the end, I think I just have a really big helm. And I'm kind of okay with that. And if you wanted to, you could actually run glue on two sides. So you can clip that side and flip it over and start gluing up the next piece. You could put multiple pieces down, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I want to take it slow, though. I don't want to rush it too much. Because I'm like, this is new material I'm using, and this is really neat. You just let it.
And see,
sit
look
for a
at how
while.
much we've used. Almost nothing, and we're
barely anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's it's pricier than getting a big jug of it, but it's really useful for what we're doing. And actually, while I was at the store talking with the guy at Tandy, I mentioned that we were trying to go this route to kind of run down, to keep down some of the fumes in the studio. And he mentioned that they have another type of contact cement that's more of a natural or less, toxic chemical and actually has almost no odor to it. And I was tempted to play with it some, but I decided to go with the stuff that I knew what to do with. I'd love to know if anybody else has some experience with some of Tandy's more natural, less toxic glue. I think I got a couple of spots that are just going to have to take a minute. Oh, that side's coming along real well. This side's taking a bit. It's nice that you brought snacks over there.
You want some?
No, I don't want some of your snacks.
Where's triple chocolate fudge brownie?
I'll give you a triple chocolate fudge brownie.
Your mom.
I'm going to trip over the cord. Little does Jeff know I switched his brownies with X-Lax. He'll find out later. No! Don't tase me, bro!
You know, I've actually witnessed someone getting tased at my one job that I was at forever in a day. It was amazing. I was like, that just happened.
A friend of mine had a security job, and some guy broke in, and a bunch of the security guards were wrestling him down. And the security guard told him, go ahead and tase him. So he did, without thinking. And electricity travels to everybody in contact. And he took down the whole group.
Oh, no, because everyone was like holding on.
Yeah, they're all holding on to this guy. Tase the guy.
Bill
Okay,
Nye taught us that, and yeah.
Bunch. Well, you know, I'm going to try and spread this out a little bit more.
Bill Nye, the science guy.
Bill Nye is the bomb.
He's pissed. The world is on fire.
Yeah, and all the more reason that we're using silicone things instead of throwaway scraps of foam. Now, we may still throw away the scraps of foam, but if we can use them for other little bits of stuff, we might as well recycle them and make more use of it.
Actually, any of the scraps of foam I would definitely like to use on my piece because it will go with what I'm going for.
That's true. They also, if you're doing miniature stuff, some of these extra bits make really good sculpting for rocks and crystals and stuff like that.
Remember that one time we made that scenery with our Warhammer
that was
Fantasy?
Cool. That was cool.
Oh man, those are the days. I if anyone plays Warhammer Fantasy, I am Nurgle, full on Nurgle. And this guy over here is Lizard Folk. God. Alright, I think it's time to get these guys back on board here.
Yeah, mine's still got to wait a little bit. I was a little heavy-handed with the glue.
Mine's going to be a little interesting because I have to kind of fold it back, but I should be able to.
Yeah, you can do it. The end resulting piece may be a little on the flat side, but as you progress around the helm, and you can always hit it with the heat gun, then you can shape that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And just take it real slow. And the nice thing is with foam, if you find that you're at a spot that you're a little off, the foam is forgiving to kind of tug where you need to tug in order to line everything up and keep it doing what you want it to do.
Take it slow and start.
Watch that tip. You're a little off on there.
Yeah, if it's a little off, I'm actually gonna adjust it to the.
Well, but what I'm saying is the left hand side where you're a little off, you can kind of pull a little bit to line it up, like I was just saying online. You know, right here on this show. There you go. Now you're talking. You know what? You keep going like that, and you could actually glue some things one day.
I'm about to glue your mouth shut.
You couldn't. No.
Now, say you accidentally get this on your hands. What is the best way to get this off?
Soap and water.
Soap and water.
Yep. And it even says it's just yeah, you just clean it off, soap and water, you're good. On the pieces that we're we're putting together here. It cures at about the 15 to 20 minute mark, but it's a full cure overnight. And so what we're doing now, by tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening, these will be a whole lot better. All right.
See,
Look, some glasses
a little bit in the middle got off, so I can just go back in and fill it right now.
Yeah, we could do that.
Which I'm about to go ahead and do. So, if you can go ahead and get the camera over here, I want to show you. So when you're gluing some pieces, like I was discussing earlier, sometimes some of your piece might come a little apart. So this is where you can come in and fill it. You can see how that little piece right there, all through here. Yeah, we're just going to go in. We're going to fill it up. It doesn't take too much. I just got some on my fingers, but it's okay because we can get it off. Okay. I'm actually going to go over on that piece, and what I'm going to do.
Alright. So when doing stuff like this that's going real slow and careful, it's good to have like friends around doing their own thing.
You're my friend.
Netflix, radio.
Kill the video star.
Have something going on, because that way it's going to seem a lot less tedious.
Or you can just listen to Oingo Boingo and just jam out to the session of that.
What we're doing essentially is tedious, but that's what we got to do. To get it all good in the end. Oh, yeah, look at that. Ooh. Oh, look. I'm Juggernaut. Ah, Juggernaut. That it? Doesn't it kind of look like it?
That's a giant helmet, Chris.
I'm Juggernaut.
Is there a back piece to that?
No, these are the back seams.
So you're gonna move that all together.
Pull it in.
Oh! All right. I just Juggernaut.
Doesn't it look like Juggernaut?
You
All right.
I love you, buddy. I love you so much.
Now it's time to see just how much time I have left to make this happen. And we'll just roll with it. All right. Glue it is.
Let's see how you do. Oh, wow. This helmet is actually, it's really crazy how it's so huge and massive, and then it's gonna, boom, then on out, you'd be all good.
It'll still be tall.
Oh, entirely. Okay, so I got 2 Ds and a C. I just gotta figure out.
Jeff and his 2Ds.
Okay, I think these two go like that. Yeah, but I gotta make sure. So I got A's and B's. So let's come back over here and check this out.
Hey, watch where we're putting stuff so we don't get it on the
apologies,
silicone
sir.
stuff. It's all good.
Okay, so that's A, that's B, and then we're gonna use C right here. I think C comes up.
That's the nice thing about all these pattern pieces is that because it's foam and we're going to paint the foam, it's okay that we can just write all over it as to what we need to go where. Makes it
Nice.
a whole lot easier at the end.
Oh, entirely. Let's see.
All right, a little bit.
Okay, Chris, so I'm looking at the A, B's, and C, D's, and now with this piece, I want to keep, now they're starting to curve,
Yep.
so, but I still want to go the same direction, correct? Or do I want to start curving the different, no, I want to start going this direction.
So what you're looking for, make sure that the bottom stays the same, and so curve it that way, and it'll pull in. Remember, this is going to be round, You've got flat patterns that are going to end up in a spherical
Oh, I see,
piece.
like that. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's got that's why like when we patterned out this one, I made the stand up piece. I think I have that still in here. There we go. I always keep my patterns in my box nearby.
He is a special this time.
All right. So we had the pattern here, and we made this to put the foil over to get that curve going like we wanted it to. And then we marked on the foil where we wanted things and cut it along those lines so that the foil can lay down flat, which gives us the flat pieces. But as the pieces assemble, they assemble into the same shape. So I should have this in this sort of shape here in just a few when this part of the glue gets dry.
Okay, no, that's smart. I actually, all right.
Don't glue the brownies.
I can't glue the brownies. I'll never glue the brownies. But no, I understand exactly what you're talking about. That's really smart to do. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and you'll see that those pieces, as you put them together, it will start naturally curving in. If we need more curve, we've got the heat gun. We can heat up the foam for a minute and give it a bit of a bowl shape that will help hold it.
So, Chris, what colors? What's our color coordination is going to go with your?
Well, see, originally I was thinking about that, and I was gonna go with some kind of greens, like a real dull silver and some greens and things, because I was going forest. But the more I go into this, and I've got a piece to do trim around the front and stuff, the more I think that I'm gonna go high off and do a shiny silver, maybe a hint of a light blue. And,
nice.
and go a lot more that direction as I put it together. I'm still gonna keep on going with the similar to the paint. I'm still gonna have the leaf wreath around the head that I wanted to have,
Okay.
And it'll get colored, branch color and leaves and stuff, and little flowers that may end up also being a light blue to set it off, or maybe even sort of a pink or yellow to just set off the whole
Some kind of
faint
hue
light
or
blue.
like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been kind of thinking. Actually, I went to the thrift store.
Yeah.
So the thrift store, I got this right here. This whole entire little basket of flowers and such for $3.
Nice.
Now, with this whole entire thing, I'm going to be able to use the materials.
It's a basket as a hat.
I know, technically you probably could. But if I can get this out. So you can just take this out. No, it's okay. We'll get it later. So basically, you just take this and this whole entire material you can cut up and then start pasting it to the helmet. Because I'm going for more of a forest troll type look.
Yeah.
But then also the pieces that are in here, I'm going to be this foam that's already here. Even this wicker basket, I'm actually going to be able to use. So I can, if I wanted to, I can actually take bits and pieces in like corners and then put it onto the helmet for textured type material or something like that.
At the same time, what you may want to consider is take the basket and repaint it on a similar color scheme that goes with your helmet and use it as a basket.
Well, there we go. We can actually, what we can do is create
Some
some
sort
kind of
of
holder like that. So it kind
yeah.
of goes with this. So you have some kind of matching material that goes with the outfit. That's really, no, I
That's
actually really
it's still
enjoy
a
that.
way to reuse it, but it's to use it more along the lines of the actual structure of the piece. I would still repaint it, even though it's got some good color to it now. I'd still repaint it to go along with
I think actually,
what was going.
well, these are the exact colors I want to go for.
Okay,
dark
so
greens
pick the
and
colors
autumn
to
type
match
colors.
here to go on the helm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there we go. And I just found this at the thrift store, Goodwill or something like that for like $3 for this whole entire thing. I got a whole bag here. I got a total for $5. So
Nice.
you'd be amazed. We go to thrift stores and everything. You'd be amazed on what you can find.
At the
in-
dollar store for our tools.
Yeah.
I tell you, I didn't tell the people at the dollar store that I was about to use this for gluing. But, whatever. It works. I may have to go back for more of these clips. These clips are the bomb. I'm really liking these. I saw them and I thought, I can make stuff stand up. And I realized, wow, That's going to be the one takeaway everybody has from this episode. But I tell you what, the big takeaway that you should have is let the glue dry.
Yeah.
Don't put it together wet. Let it dry. And just kind of recapping, barge is the good stuff where you can get it. Tandy Leather carries it. People use it for leatherworking stuff. Weldwood is what's at the hardware stores all across the country. Easy to get to. I do know that if you are in a colder climate, this stuff takes even longer to cure. And sometimes you actually, if you're far enough north, like in the winter, you got to take it inside in order to get it doing anything. But I live in Texas. That's not a problem.
Nope.
It can always cure.
But I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is that when they're working on their crafts projects and such, they don't let their stuff dry and they just kind of rush it and so forth. So, and that's where you can have mishaps and so forth. But nice thing I like is that when you go to, say you're local cosplayer or something like that, and you go to conventions, there's now conventions to where they're having repair center spots for LARPers, cosplayers, anyone with a costume. You have your shoe blows out or something, you can go there and you can fix it. There might be a small fee, or they might be doing it for free. Either way, it's always nice, and it's nice to bring a little community like that together, because then you can share ideas and you can ask questions. Oh, hey, how did you make this? How did you make that? Chris and I, when we go to our conventions, people are like, how did you make this? And we're like, well, and we tell them, it's like, you know what, here, just go to our show on YouTube, and boom, there you go. You got exactly what you want to look for.
Combat Creations, now housed at Kaiju Media.
Do you need a clip or anything you want to... Oh, okay. Oh, I see you're doing the back end. Cool.
Yeah.
You're doing me hold there or anything?
No, I got it. I'm putting pressure on it as I go down because this is
okay.
such an
No, I
extreme
totally get where you're coming from on that. That's turning really cool. I like it. Okay. Now, this is a piece I gotta...
But yeah, we are now at Kaiju Media.
Kaiju
You can still find us by looking for
Kaiju Labs Media.
Combat Creations. Kaiju Media. Part of all the shows there. Oh, there we go. I was listing off shows in my head there to talk about, but then I started...
like, wait a minute.
Then I started looking at what I'm doing and got to focus, people. Focus!
You gotta focus, Chris. Gotta focus. My tip of the helmet might be off a little bit. For me, it's gonna be okay because I'm gonna have material that can either cover it, or I can just go back in and fill it in and such like that. But yeah, see, I got some big open crease right here. I'm just gonna go back and fill that in with glue, and then we'll be able to see right there where it's kind of cracking.
Oh,
it's all right.
This is the giggles of a happy crafter.
Giggles of a happy crafter. Crafter.
Now, I will still need to shape this a little bit. Let's see where we're at.
I'm just gonna let that sit right there. Oh, that is cool. Okay, I can totally see. Wow, that's like the perfect cone head.
But doesn't
that's like cone heads, dude.
But doesn't it look high elf?
Yeah,
because it's all top. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so you just do this.
And then this part will come around, so it's in front of the face there.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool if you get some kind of really decorative chain or something that kind of goes right here. Just kind of doing that.
That's a good idea.
But no, I can totally see where you're coming from on that, and we will. No, but that is really neat. You had this big giant piece that looked like a juggernaut, and then you, bam, just like that. And I'm almost done with my piece, so hopefully I can get this done in time. If not, it's okay, because then, see it next time. This is really neat. I am really enjoying this.
Right on top of my little stand here. Yeah. So the neat thing about this is, so I made the stand to build the pattern, right? And so now, I'll turn it a little more so you can see. So now I can put it back on, and I know it's the right size because I made the pattern for it. But later, when I start getting around to adding things, or I start getting around to painting it, I can set it up and completely off the table on my stand while I'm working on it. When we're traveling back and forth, it's also going to stay up off of like the bottom of things. It's less likely to get squished because it's got the structure inside. Now, I did kind of go a little quick on a couple of my seams just for the show here. And so what I'm going to have to do between shows is I'm going to just do a little bit of glue in just a couple of spots, press it together a little bit better so that we have those seams doing what they need to be doing. And you look at this. Look at this. This brush has been sitting here for a while. The glue's set up. I just peel that right off. Clean brush.
Silicone's the way to go because it comes right off.
Clean brush.
Brilliant. And it's easy to clean.
It is.
Very easy to clean. I like it.
You don't glue any more glue than that because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Jeff's going to have to just keep gluing between shows and make things happen. But even yours, so you could see here that it's starting to turn into a curve, right? And we may do a little more curve work on it, but between the two pieces, you can already see where it's going.
Here.
So this will go in front because you'll get one more piece back here, and then you've got the other side there. That seems like, even though this is exactly...
I can't hear anything!
Even though this is exactly off of what it was on mine, it almost seems like that we may need a little extra on the back, but once we get that extra panel on, I think we'll be just fine with that.
And that's going to be the D panel, which...
Yep, and you had it.
How do I do this?
Yeah, so it gives a little curve on the back, just like mine kind of went up here.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. And in fact, looking at mine, I can kind of see where the line where I'm going to add the foliage around. I might actually bring it down a little bit, going around the side. I might trim up just a little on the bottom, that sort of thing. But overall, got the beginnings of a giant elf helm.
That's really cool.
There are certain marks in this series of putting things together that really get me in. You have to do all the prep work of drawing it out. You have to do all the patterning, and that part is kind of cool, but takes a little bit of time. But the end result is once you get to gluing, and the thing comes together, and you've got the beginnings of a three-dimensional piece. It's amazing. Why are you adding more glue?
Because I'm going on this one too.
I know. Jeff doesn't understand time constraints.
I am going to finish this piece at least, so I don't have to do any more.
So the next time we get together, I'm going to show you some stuff called foam. What's it called? Foam clay.
Foam clay. I was like foam textures, foam something.
It's
Play-Doh.
another
foam.
It's some really neat stuff. It's malleable foam. We can sculpt with it, and we're going to do some sculpting with it to add to the pattern over here and build up some things with the foam clay. It ends up working just like foam. It's another thing that we got from Steve over at SKS Props. I was just looking at his website the other day. I knew that he was doing a whole lot of upgrading a lot of his videos and tutorials, and it's looking really good over there at SKS Props. That's where we got all of our foam from, so thank you, Steve. We'll get to the foam clay next week, and after that is the next big milestone where we start actually putting paint on. And we'll do a little bit of painting off camera, some things where we do some Plastidip and some base coat so you don't have to watch that dry like you watch the glue dry. Then we can start doing all the hand painting and the extra. I still have trim to go on the front of mine, and I've got a special treat for everybody when I get to the trim on the front, some extra stuff that I have never tried before. But we'll get to some of that. We've got some extra once we get these complete, there's some extra credit spiffiness coming that I
extra
can't
credit
wait.
spiffiness.
So
I'm looking forward to it because
we got some wires, we got some electronics and all.
I personally am really looking forward to see how you go about that and so forth. There's a piece that I kind of want to try out, and I'll discuss that with you in just a little bit here.
Excellent. Yeah, we don't want to give too much away.
No, not at all.
We're at the big part. The next big part will be kind of leading up to the paint jobs, and then we'll start leading up to finishing touches and making them all wearable and gorgeous and all of that. Off camera, I'm going to hit it with some heat gun and shape it a little bit more. Jeff's going to keep on gluing up until he starts gluing up into his brownies and stuff over there. We're going to step up for now. Go get started on these. You guys stay tuned for some more stuff. All sorts of cool shows that they have just on Access, even aside from Kaiju Labs. We will see you next week here at Kaiju Labs Media. And until then, continue crafting!
See you guys.